It's the year 982, and the West has never seen a cross. No Dark Ages, no cathedrals, no saints. For 1,000 years, philosophy replaced faith, duty replaced salvation. A brilliant world, but hollow at its core, because without Christianity, there's no heaven to hope for, and no God who weeps. What if Rome never found the cross, and after 1,000 years of certainty, love returned? But to understand how this strange world began, we have to go back 8 centuries to a Rome with many gods, and absolutely no idea what was coming. Imagine you're a young Roman philosopher in 190 AD. The air is warm with the smell of baked bread, and sharp with spices from ships docking in the port of Ostia. At the Forum, debate isn't a pastime, it's blood sport. Platonists wrestle over the soul, Stoics drill virtue like soldiers, priests chant under marble colonnades, and somewhere in the back, a cynic is yelling that everyone's wrong, and also smells bad. Your world is pluralistic, ordered, and intellectually alive. Many gods, many truths, no urgency to choose just one. Until whispers arrive from the eastern provinces. A fringe sect claims every other god is false. Truth, they say, lives in a single carpenter from Galilee. They meet in secret, refuse public rites, call each other brother and sister, and they reject the family hierarchies Rome is built on. Some in power see them as dangerous. After all, what happens to a tolerant society when someone declares only one truth? In our timeline, persecution gave Christianity its legend. Martyrs, smuggled letters, heroes born in prison cells. But not here. In this world, Emperor Commodus survives the assassination that killed him in ours, suspicious, erratic, but cunning enough to turn his wrath on the wealthy cult threatening his power, not the obscure Christian minority. No martyrs, no letters, no legend. The movement withers in the West. Then, disaster elsewhere pulls Rome's focus. A famine in the Levant, a rebellion in the East, trade falters, missionary routes collapse. Christianity drifts eastward toward Persia, leaving the West untouched. No one notices what's missing. No councils, no bishops, no sacred authority. Only a tapestry of gods and ideas, woven tight, but open at the edges. In your family, life continues unchanged. You marry who your father chooses. Coins to Mercury before travel. Wine for the Larrys at home. Ethics debated in the marketplace, not sin in the confessional. Without Christianity, moral equality never takes root. Slaves and emperors are not equals before any god. The weak are protected, but never valued. Compassion is practical, not moral. Reason flourishes. Empathy stalls. The libraries fill. The aqueducts rise. The stars are mapped, but there is no Augustine, no Aquinas, no art of divine suffering. 1,000 years of logic, but no revelation. And yet, something nags at you. You've mastered rhetoric, honored your ancestors, fulfilled your duty, but you wonder, is that enough? What if truth isn't only logic, but love? It's now 982 AD. You walk through a city that feels ancient, yet impossibly advanced. Marble streets gleam under the sun. Aqueducts stretch like stone rivers to the horizon. Above the Grand Academy, reason is the path to order. Order is the path to peace. And in a place like this, no one's grandmother is glaring at you for skipping temple, which sounds nice, until you realize everyone skips temple. Inside, students argue Stoic ethics. Astronomers refine star charts. Engineers unveil machines powered by wind and weight. Every city has an academy, locked in rivalry, but never in war. Step outside, and life hasn't changed in centuries. Families obey the iron rule of the clan. Fathers hold absolute power. Marriages are political contracts, not love stories. Your life's purpose? Serve your lineage and your city. You are not your own person. You are a thread in an ancient tapestry. Ambition isn't personal glory. It's loyalty to the clan. Public squares overflow with thinkers presenting discoveries. Mechanical clocks, star maps, mathematical proofs, but without the belief in a rational creator, there's no drive to uncover universal laws. Science catalogs what is, it doesn't chase what could be. Progress becomes elegant, but predictable. The stars are mapped, but their meaning is never challenged. Nature is observed, but never questioned. And yet, something stirs beneath all this order. It shows first in the art. And what's missing from it? The art is flawless and lifeless. Statues glorify ancestors. Mosaics show civic rituals. Music is perfect harmony. Without emotion, the theater thrives, but the stories are cold. Tragedies without redemption. Comedies without catharsis. Why this chill in a world so brilliant? Because without Christianity, suffering has no meaning. The poor are cared for, tax-funded hospitals, efficient and clean. But they're not loved. Almsgiving is civic duty, not compassion. There are no saints, no parables of the prodigal son. And yet, Children still die. Fathers still grieve. But without a God who weeps, grief has no sanctuary. Here, sorrow is managed, not shared. Ritual replaces mourning. Philosophy replaces prayer. Even love is a contract, not a covenant. This is the paradox of a civilization that worships reason above all. Stable, advanced, and deeply repressed. It works. It has worked for centuries, and most would never question it. Until one morning, a child named Lucius vanishes from his home in Massilia. Days later, he is found at the base of a cliff. Alive, but shaken. Whispering about a man in white who spoke of love, forgiveness, and a kingdom not of this world. The story spreads like wildfire. The boy is mocked, then studied, then feared. Others begin whispering about visions. A respected astronomer claims he felt something watching back from the stars. No one says the word aloud, but everyone feels it. A disturbance in the order. The boy's visions fade into rumor. Scholars dismiss them. Philosophers debate if revelation is just grief in disguise. Massilia keeps moving. Courtyards swept clean. Rituals performed. Machines unveiled. Then, a ship docks in the harbor. Merchants unload silks, amphorae of oil, spices thick in the air, and among them, a handful of travelers, sunburned and cloaked, clutching scrolls and small wooden crosses. No banners, no guards, just stories. They call themselves followers of the way. You're there when they speak in the square. At first, the crowd laughs. Christianity is a forgotten footnote, one of countless mystery cults that fizzled long ago. But curiosity pulls the philosophers closer. What do these strangers offer? A single God, who became man, suffered, died, and rose again. But the real blow comes next. He knows you. Not as a citizen, not as a son of Rome, but as a soul, a beloved soul. The words don't land like logic. They land like a wound. Silence. Then laughter. Then debate. A Stoic elder rises. What use is a God who bleeds? What order comes from mercy? What justice from forgiveness? The missionaries answer with stories. A widow's last coin worth more than a rich man's treasure. A son welcomed home after betrayal. A thief promised paradise, not for virtue, but for belief. The philosophers recoil. This message is not orderly. It is contagious. Some dismiss the strangers as sentimental fools. Others return quietly to hear them again. A scholar resigns from the academy. A matron refuses to arrange her daughter's marriage. She must choose. The rulers take notice. But this is no political revolt, no tribute demanding God. It is a language of the heart, slipping through the cracks of a world built on reason. They debate, not whether to expel the missionaries, but whether to silence the ideas. One night, a candlelit procession moves through the alleyways. Servants, laborers, scholars. A child with a twisted leg walks without pain. Lucius walks too, silent, candle in hand. The next morning, the grand library wall bears a message in fresh paint, not reason or ritual. Love. The academy calls an emergency session. They don't fear invasion. They fear change. Maybe it wasn't the West that missed Christianity, but Christianity that missed the West. If that twist made you rethink history, hit subscribe and join us. Every week, we explore the worlds that almost were, and the fragile ideas we're still standing on. Don't miss the next one.